Hi, how's it going, folks? So, being in this debate for decades now, there is one thing that some gun controllers like to do. It's really, I think, for many of them, more of a shaming tactic as opposed to actually discussing the subject of the matter. But, for others, it is a way for them to try to shift the goalpost. And this is usually starts off when they ask their opponent on whether or not they've served in the army or not. Now, with me, I'm a global war on terror veteran. I served in the army. So with me, that really doesn't work. You know, you can't really call me a pretend soldier. I've been there and I've done that. However, for other people who've not served, this unfortunately might get a little bit difficult for them because a lot of them at that point fall victim to the shaming tactic. And honestly, you shouldn't be doing this. The fact of the matter is that none of our Bill of Rights are predicated on whether or not you've served your country or fought in a war. I mean, think about it. Do we require military service before you can exercise your right to freedom of speech or your right to freedom of press? Well, please, let's let a lot of these journalists nowadays, a lot of these mainstream journalists who like to pound the war drums on foreign wars, let's make them go out and put on a uniform and fight for their country before they can continue to exercise their trade in the press. I mean, can you imagine what would happen? The uproar it would be, and it would follow if a police officer pulls someone over and said, "Hey, have you served or anything else?" Person says no. Police officer says, "Okay, well, now step on the car, step out of the car, put the handcuffs on you real quick." And now, even though I don't have any reasonable, or excuse me, probable cause or a warrant, I'm now going to search your car anyway. Because you haven't served your country, therefore you don't get to exercise your Fourth Amendment rights. Um, or you're accused of a crime. Now you're before the judge. The judge says, "Well, we've gotten a review of your records. It turns out you haven't served your country yet. So I'm not going to give you a trial by jury. I'm just going to convict you for stealing a stick of gum, at the convenience store." And I sentenced you to death by drawing and quartering. I don't imagine many people would think that that's right. I mean, I would think that at that point, in that case, that person's Sixth Amendment and Eighth Amendment would be violated at that point. So you see, our constitutionally protected rights are not predicated on whether or not we've signed up for the Army or the Navy or the Marines or the Air Force or fought in any wars. If it did, a lot of people would not be able to exercise their constitutionally protected rights in this country. And quite frankly, a number of these people who set that ridiculous standard of, oh, well, if you want to actually keep and bear arms, you have to uh, serve in the army or you have to fight for the country. These are the very same people that complain about voter ID being a requirement before they allow you to vote or some sort of ID that's photographed, that's up to date before you are required to vote. And quite frankly, this is a very inconsistent position for them to take. And worse still is you have the types, and I've run into the a few of them over the years too, who sit there and say, "Well, you like your AR-15 because it was like the M4 you were issued when you were in the Army. Oh, why don't you just go and join the Army again if you like your M4 so much? Well, the fact of the matter is my Second Amendment rights, just the same as anybody else's Second Amendment rights, do not rise and fall based on whether or not they're in service. Just the same as any of our Bill of Rights or any of our constitutionally protected rights. Period. You know? So I don't know what else to say on this one other than, you know, each and every one of you who are making that requirement, be careful of what you wish for, because the second that gets applied to the Second Amendment, well, there's not really anything stopping that from becoming a requirement for any of your other constitutionally protected rights. And while you might not see a purpose for you having your constitutionally protected rights now, just wait till what happens when they're actually getting violated in a situation you do actually care about. And I gave a number of examples beforehand, so I'm going to wrap this up here. And y'all have the comments section down below as usual. You can chime in your thoughts, but I don't imagine that too many people are going to disagree with anything I've said. Unless, of course, you are the type that does believe that there should be some sort of mandatory service in this country and that withholding your basic rights are a means to get that service. So, y'all take her easy out there and have a great day.